everyone, we all love denim, we all wear denim, and it's a great uplifting colour to wear. What works with that makeup wise is pink. Beautiful fresh pink against denim, has a lovely brightening contrast. The denim works beautifully with all hair colours, skin colours, and kind of lifts your emotions and complexion. And the pink, in contrast, really brightens the whites of your eyes and teeth. So what's to go wrong? So I'm going to show you a little makeup that sits well with this colour palette. I've just added a little bit of the multivitamin murad oil to my skin because even though I've moisturised it and used hyaluronic, it still wasn't tacky enough. It's a bit thirsty this morning. Then I'm going to go in now with the BFF, the Trini cream, Trini London, SPF of 30. This is the medium, and it basically goes on white, but it's a colour adapting product that's like a moisturiser. Really soft and sheer. I've used this in a couple of my films. Couldn't be easier to apply. And as you see me rubbing it into my complexion, you'll see that it's warming it up slightly. This colour is medium, so it takes away that cool palette that I have on my skin, which will soon be warming up when I get a little bit more sun, protected sun obviously, on my skin. But it's a really, really nice, easy product to use when you just want a little wash of colour. Now if you had freckles or you want something really light, that would be enough, but for me that's not enough coverage, but it gives me a really lovely sort of all over base. But to go in with a little bit of extra coverage, which I feel more confident with, I'm going to use the Magic Away by Charlotte Tilbury. They have loads of colours in this range and I just really love the formula. Now the applicator is brilliant too. It tends to get a little bit grubby. I tend to clean this quite a lot because after a while, when you put the lid on and take it off again, the product sort of sits in the lid. But this is a great concealer because when you place it on the skin, it stays put. So a lot of concealers that you can put on your skin and then it has great spreadability, you know, where you can go, oh, that's nice, it just moves around my skin really nicely. But then it doesn't cover what you want to conceal. So, you know, concealer is one of those products that you do want to eradicate what you're covering. You don't want to see the bluey grey under your eyes. You don't want to see the pigmentation. So you want the concealer to do its job. And what I love about using two products like this, which one is very sheer, like the Trini London, and then the Magic Away by Charlotte Tilbury, combining these two together, you still get a really nice, fresh, sort of translucent finish. It's not like you've got a full face of full coverage foundation, which for some people works really well, but for me, I just like to cover those areas that I need to, and then just perfect the areas that, you know, need a little bit more help. So I think I'm just going to use a little bit of a foundation brush to buff and migrate these two textures and colours together, because you've probably noticed that the concealer that I've used is slightly lighter than the base that I used. That's just because I'm trying to add light and shade to my skin in a very soft way, sort of, you know, natural contouring. Let me grab a brush. Use this foundation brush and just push it in. These foundation brushes are great if you're doing like an early morning makeup, your light's not very good. You can just run it over your bone structure, keep it down at the sides to make sure that the foundation sits nicely at the side of your face and doesn't kind of get woven into any fine hair. But I do regularly dermaplane my skin. If you haven't seen that film, have a look. I mean, basically, I suppose it's a grand way of saying that I shave my face, but with a very soft razor. But I'm very fluffy on my skin, and the makeup would always sit on it and annoy me because it didn't look smooth enough. And it allows the products that I use, the expensive active ingredients that I use, to really absorb into my skin. So I'm just going to go use my finger just close to my lashes and just tap that in. That's coming together nicely. And the good thing about the Magic Away as well is that it really stays, it really does last. And it feels super lightweight. So it's not a completely flawless airbrush skin, but it's perfect for what I want. Something that's natural but perfected, and I don't look so tired. I mean, Obviously I look a bit pale and pasty now, but I don't look as tired as I did before because I'm nice and light under my eyes. Right, I think what we'll do first is I'm going to do my brows. I'm going to do my brows. I'm going to use one of my faves, the Soap and Glory. I'm using the Rapid Brow at the moment at night when I remember. I'm not that great at remembering. Just to see whether I can get a little bit more fullness in my brows. So they're not very even because I'm leaving them to grow a little bit, but just to get a little bit of extra thickness there might be quite nice, because they were getting quite thin and they were getting sort of quite patchy. It's almost like the growth pattern had changed in your brows and it become really patchy. I've always had dreadful brows anyway at the ends. They've always had like they've been sort of sliced either end, but they were getting more patchy sort of here towards, you know, the centre here, and you don't want your brows to shrink back because it makes your eyes look smaller. So but I'm not having any of that. Come on, let's see if it works. At the same time, I don't want to be plucking every day either. Oh, we're never happy, are we? Just chuck that on. It's such a nice colour, this, and just fill it underneath and stretch it out. Just a little brush there. Just to pull those up. Just to always take everything up. Give yourself a nice lift. Then I'm going to use the other side, just here. It's got the gel, it keeps them in place. This makes a big difference, to be fair, especially just here at the centre. Let's extend that down slightly. Right, so brows done. I'm going to go in for a really simple eye. I'm going to do a beauty pie eye. I love this shade. It's called a Brazilian Air. It is such a lovely colour. It's in between a sort of taupey and a brown, so it's kind of a real neutral. So if you're cool toned, warm toned, got darker skin, it suits everybody. It's kind of like one of those classic go-tos. If I had to do a look for someone, we literally had, and sometimes it does happen, right, you've got 10 minutes, I would just whack this on in this lovely sort of creamy fashion, and then blend it and loop it all around my artist's eye, because it just gives that lovely shape and definition to your eye without overpowering it, and sort of enhances all different eye shades because it doesn't overpower. It's not too brown. Like sometimes if you use a lot of browns it can look a bit muddy and maybe a bit yellow, and then if you use a lot of greys and it can look a bit too cool and therefore a bit sort of fake. But the blend of this shade is just lovely. Really, really neutral, soft and creamy, and it lasts. So once it's dried, it will stay put. Beauty Pie do some amazing, amazing products, and you save an absolute fortune. If you're a beauty addict, it's a great membership because you get to choose the things that you'd normally buy, you know, whether it was skincare or whether it was a candle or whether it was makeup, and you just get really, really decent product. This is a big new discovery of mine. Sort of in the last 6 months, I suppose, and I've been using it a lot. And as you can see, it just gives us that sort of effortless beauty and shape to our eyes. We're going to go in with a super black mascara, and as you know, I'm a big mascara fan. This has got a lovely big brush, but it doesn't overpower the lashes. So you can get the mascara on, but you don't end up with sort of, you know, big fat spider's legs as lashes. The brush puts on the product, but it also separates the lashes so they look quite fanned out. There we go. Spread those out. And that eye is such a neutral eye, and it couldn't be easier. It's just called a lovely, soft, neutral wraparound eye. Everyone can do this. So the next product I'm going to use is a very popular one. It's Moonstone by Becca, and this is a lovely highlighter. It's called Shimmering Skin Perfector. And it's really cooling when you apply it to your skin as well. I'm just going to migrate it with my finger just underneath my brow, just to connect there, and it instantly just gives lovely light to my skin. Now, I haven't used any powder. I wouldn't use this over powder at all. You can get some creams that are sort of more delicate, but this is quite a wet highlighter, so you need to make sure that you put it on your skin if you are going to powder it before you powder it. It's a little bit on my forehead, and it's a really, really delicate colour, and I like this shade because it's almost like a sort of bright gold, but the gold isn't too yellow. Again, like the sort of brown eyeshadows that you might find in your makeup bag, they tend to be a bit sort of yellow and rusty and can make you feel a little bit flat, but this shade of highlighter has a real lift to it. No, I mustn't. Actually, do you know what? I just went to put some over my lips, but I can't do that with my lips because they're too bumpy. So we need to keep those nice and matte and flat, and then they won't catch the light. Lovely. Okay, so this Shiseido product, there's two Shiseido products I'm going to use. This is the first one, and it's called a Whipped Powder Blush. Now, Japanese beauty products are beautiful, and this is just lovely. This is where I think, oh, wouldn't it be nice if you could just put your finger in there and share the experience with me. But if you're in a department store, please go and take a look. Don't worry, it looks quite bright, but it calms down. It is so soft and delicate, and look how powdery that goes onto my skin. If you're going to pay a little bit extra for your blush, the pleasure is in the application, and the pleasure is in, look how gently that has diffused. So that's obviously, I haven't blended that, and I've just literally touched that with my finger, and it's just given me that flush of colour. And that's what you're paying for. I mean, incredible texture and shade. And for me, this gives me absolute joy. It really does. And you can build it up, and it lasts as well. It doesn't fade, it really lasts, but it just gives that lovely, beautiful for weddings, right? Really kind of lovely flush. But can you see how the colour is reacting against the blue and sort of picking up on my features better? Just keep adding it on the top of the apple of my cheeks and lifting slightly, but remembering the circle around your orbital bone. Just making sure you don't stretch your blusher too much, even though this is a natural flush. So you can just dab it, you can't go wrong with that. And I use the tiniest amount. In fact, I've just been using it off the lid. So the whipped blusher is absolutely beautiful. Just showing I've got whipped powder blush. And this colour is called Chiyoko. Very nice, massive top tip. On the same Shiseido note, moving very quickly, speedily, onto the lips. This is 207. Now this is their gel lipsticks. Nothing quite like it. There is really nothing quite like it. Super lightweight, super soft, great pigments. You don't feel like you've got them on your lips. They're that lightweight sort of texture. And they last. This is shade 207. I'm not going to use a liner. Oh, it's a perfect denim pink. And now I say denim pink, you know what I'm talking about, right? It literally feels like a lightweight moisturiser going on my lips. And I'm just going to soften it because I want this to be really soft. I mean, what's not to like? It's slightly sheer, so flattering. And if, like me, your lips are slightly imperfect and a bit bumpy, the softness of this just makes everything softer. Whereas you go in with a kind of heavy pigmented lipstick, you've got to spend a little bit of time getting it perfect, blotting it down, going in with the liner. But I don't want to go in with the liner with this. I just want to kind of go. That's just great. I love it. Really, really love these products, Shiseido. Well done. One last thing, as I'm looking at myself, I think I'm a little bit pale, so I'm going to use one of my faves, Vita Liberata. This is the Luxury Tan, because it's super, super light. You just choose a nice big brush. Now, I don't often use big brushes because I like to be very bespoke about the placement of my makeup, but because I just want a nice big wash of colour, put a little bit in the lid here, And I'm really, really mixing it into the brush. And that's a really key tip actually, because if you just go and put the bronzer on, you're going to get a whopping load of pigment on one area of your face. But I just want to warm up that perimeter of my skin. Just on the outside. So really just tracing along my hairline, jawline, chin, just to add a little bit of shape. There we are. I love the colour of this lip. It's so nice against the blue. I think that's what's so satisfying for me. I hope it looks that way on camera. I do need to get myself a big monitor, I think. And always just down your neck, just to make sure that everything blends in beautifully together. So there we are. When you wear your denim, chuck on a little bit of pink and it lifts the whole look. And if you want a quick eye, there's not one quicker than this. Have a lovely day, guys. And as usual, I love to read all your comments below, even if I don't get the opportunity to respond to everyone or sound like a repetitive parrot saying the same thing all the time. It really does make a huge difference to me and spurs me on to keep making the videos. So thank you so much for your support. I love being part of the conversation and look forward to speaking to you next Saturday. Bye for now.